When it comes down to reviewing games, this is something I've wanted to do for a very long time and just I've put it off, well, until now. But yeah, I'm very unexperienced when it comes down to writing and editing for reviews, but this is something I've wanted to do for a while, so I'm just going to give it a good go and hopefully we can just get better from this point forward. So yeah, this is a review for Cyberpunk 2077. All footage in this review is off of my Xbox Series X. Please note that some footage is before any patches or updates. I'm just looking to cover just the basics, including performance bugs, menus, RPG elements, and dialogue. Upon starting a new game in Cyberpunk, you will have the option to select what difficulty level you'd like to play on. I just do normal on all my first playthroughs of any game. And then from there forward you'll have your life path. These are basically just character backgrounds and backstory to the game. This will affect your prologue missions. You'll do a different prologue mission, and it will affect dialogue and the way that other characters look at you in the game. Performance wise, there are two options. There is performance mode and quality mode. What you're seeing now is performance mode, and the target on the Series X is 60 frames. It runs smooth throughout most of the game. And then you have quality mode, which I do not like or use. It's hard to really see on the footage, but it drops to about 30, sometimes under 30 frames a second. It's not really, the footage isn't really showing you that it's dropped that much, but it is absolutely awful to play in this quality mode. And you can just see there, look, cars are just clipping these walls here. Awful on this. Recommend performance mode. Back to performance mode now, and we should just point out that the Xbox Series X version does have higher density of pedestrians and road traffic than any of the other Xboxes or even the PlayStations, in that matter of fact, so we have to take that in consideration. But for the most majority of Cyberpunk on the Series X playing on performance mode, it is stable and very much playable. Moving on now to graphics. Cyberpunk is, for the most part, breathtaking. It does look good. And well, for a game that was developed for last gen, this does look good. It does have its moments where some textures just look out of place or old, or some characters, but for the most part, Cyberpunk is beautiful. For a game that isn't running ray tracing on console, this is absolutely beautiful. The reflections of neon lights is absolutely stunning. Light shining on wet patches also, and it just feels really good for what it is. Talking about wet patches, it does a really good job at the reflections. Like I said, water on roads looks absolutely stunning. You can even see raindrops on your vehicles. So yeah, overall graphics on the game are not bad. Diving now into gameplay, this is a random side mission that I found in the world map, and I'm going to try and avoid any major story stuff, so I'm going to keep it to just side missions and a little bit of dialogue from, I don't know, about 20% through the story, and we're just going to be focusing really on performance and graphics really throughout this review. As you can see here, the body's flapping about all over the place. It's one of them things you look at, but it doesn't really put you off the game, if you know what I mean. If you're used to playing games like Skyrim, Bethesda games, you'll know what I'm talking about. Here you're about to see an explosion, and as you'll notice that I don't actually seem to drop any frames, which is pretty good, because on a lot of games you would see definitely a frame drop there. But for the most part the game is alright, it's playable. It's just the bugs that ruin it. I know that some people will have crashes and it'll be different experience for everyone, but personally, through my experience of playing this game, busy missions with lots of enemies played really well, and they didn't really cause much bother to me really. Dialogue in Cyberpunk 2077 is just what you expect from any role-playing game really, like Fallout 4. You get 3 options pretty much every time to respawn. It doesn't really matter what you say because it always leads to the same goal. Sometimes you get like your path choice, your life choice options as well, but that's just extra stuff really. There is, however, in Cyberpunk a quick time option in the dialogue at some stages in the game where you have a small amount of time to react to a red bar that pops on the screen. This can alter the outcome of a cutscene here, so if I didn't tell him to calm down, he may have reacted differently and a different outcome would have happened. It wouldn't really be a Cyberpunk review if I didn't show Johnny Silverhand in the game, played by Keanu Reeves. Throughout the game, he is a main character after about maybe 10% of the game after the prologue. Not going to give too much up here, but his acting in this game is alright. It's not perfect, it's not Hollywood style, but it's decent. He basically is sharing a brain with you. He has basically invaded your brain and you have to live with him throughout the game. But yeah, it's a really nice thing to have in a game. Now let's jump into your menus and your RPG elements. Yeah, it is an RPG game. There is different types of clothing that have different armor ratings. They might have different perks. Basically, one might take more fire damage, one might take more bullet resistance or melee weapon resistance, stuff like that. Stuff that you know from any other RPG really. It's pretty basics in the term of that. Obviously you got guns, what you can get the same gun, what does different damage, has different perks, the same as clothing. And you can just obviously easily swap stuff out there. And at the bottom you have your quick access, which you can quickly access with the D-pad, stuff like health and grenades. And then you have your backpack. This is basically everything that you own on your character categorized into different sections. You can see and view everything that you own, including your clothes, your guns, your consumables, collectibles, junk. To your left you've got your components. You collect these to do upgrades to your body and guns. And you have your quick hack components, which are used for hacking. Cyberware is where you come when you need to change out or swap different parts of your body. Each part of your body does a different thing, whether it's adding armor or maybe controlling a gun better. It is quite interesting to come here and change different things and make your character play differently through this. And then you have your cyber deck. Here is where you can view your operating system. You can change out your operating systems to give you more RAM to use as ability points when hacking. And then you have your mods, and they're basically self-explanatory. They basically change the way that you can hack and interact with the world and enemies. And then coming over to leveling up and upgrades. So you have 5 different core attributes that you can upgrade, which are body, reflexes, technical ability, intelligence, and cool. And then in each one of them is a skill tree. There's actually 2 or 3 skill trees in between them that you can use your ability points for after upgrading. And then you have your map, which is pretty basic. It's a basic map. It's not the best map. It's almost like the Division style map, obviously just without seeing your character up close when you zoom right in. Split into different regions, as you can see, as you zoom further out, and once you zoom further in, everything that you can explore, from gun shops to selling your stuff at merchants. You've got your side missions, your like little world defense, stuff like that, all scattered around the map. Pretty basic map. You can set waypoints, you can zoom right in, but other than finding what you're looking for, I don't really use this very much. Back to gameplay now with gunplay. It took some getting used to. I really didn't enjoy my first experiences with guns on this game. I had to turn off the aim assist. Obviously I turned that completely off and found it much better without the aim assist. I don't know, I wouldn't judge it too much. It's not too bad. It just did take a little while for me to get used to it, the sensitivity and that. But other than that, it's pretty. It's just alright. It's nothing special. The handle on the guns are fine. The recoil is fine. Other than that, it's normal. Just takes some getting used to at the start. For a massive open world RPG game that has you driving about everywhere, I thought the car handling and mechanics were absolutely awful. It just feels really like heavy. Don't get me wrong, there is a sense of weight to the cars. Like smaller cars do struggle to handle around corners at speed, where heavier cars also go out a bit wider. But driving on this game is nothing special. It's not anywhere near even GTA standards, to be honest with you, which I was a bit disappointed in. And we obviously have to talk about the bugs. These are no secret, these are plastered all over the internet. As you can see just behind me there, a car just stopped. Traffic on this game is absolutely awful. They just randomly stop, they don't go when on green lights. It's pretty awful. And then you've got pop-ins like this. I was actually streaming then, that scared the living shit out of me, that did. Pop-ins are pretty awful. And this isn't really a bug, but I thought like if you were to jump out of a car at top speed, then you would roll and take damage, but you don't. He's got iron feet and just stops, and the car stops soon after that, which I don't know if that's something they're going to patch. I'm not 100% sure just yet. And then you have your bugs in cutscenes during the story. You can see I'm clipping, and debris is just stuttering all over the place, and it's a shame because the story is really good. The actual story in this game is really good, but things like this just let it down, doesn't make it feel like a 10 out of 10 game, which it isn't at the moment, unfortunately. You can see there his gun is clipping. He's meant to be handing me over a chip, and you can see his gun's just clipping. His gun shouldn't be there, that's not meant to be out. We're not in a combat, and it shouldn't be out, and it's just things like this that need to be patched relatively soon, really. And this was a massive problem. The game would just randomly freeze on the Xbox Series X. It didn't kick me back to the dashboard, I never had to restart. It was a few seconds and then it would replay, but this happened every 30 seconds. Every 3 minutes or so. And then you've got this. I've just come out of a mission area and there is a guy just clipped into my car, and I'm thinking, right, what happens if I now get in the car? Do I drive through him? No, I end up absolutely splattering him, and that of course can get you done by the feds on this game. So stuff like that really just put the game off. And then this was in a mission as well earlier on. This is meant to be like a mini boss sort of fight, but he just stutters and lags in the elevator when he's meant to come out shooting at you, and it was just an easy kill. Like, he didn't do any damage, I was just sat there shooting at him. I've seen this on multiple versions on different platforms, but yeah, it's just awful. It does take away from the storytelling, really. And this is another moment where I could not move. It might look like I'm moving side to side, but I could not move forward or back. I was stuck here for a few seconds. I looked down just to show it as well. I did eventually get out of this, but it's just annoying. It's just an annoyance, if anything. Overall, Cyberpunk 2077 is a good game and does run particularly well on the Xbox Series X. I can't speak from other things, but on the Xbox Series X it is definitely playable. The bugs do get in the way of the game. It does make the game feel a lot worse than it is, but with patches this game can seriously get up into that sort of 8 out of 10 region. For now I would say probably hold up for a sale, wait for the patches, wait for the next gen update next year. But overall the game is good, the graphics are good, my experience with the game is good despite all the flaws and bugs in the game. I've really enjoyed the game. Sadly I can't give it a 10 out of 10, but it's a definite solid 6 to 7 out of 10 for me, and hopefully with the improvements this game could be good. Thanks for watching this review. Hopefully I can get better at doing reviews in the future. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment and a like. Please let me know what I can do to make this better.